From S Credit. What was your "I'm dating a fucking idiot" moment? Let's go. She seemed to be confused about the difference between flamingos and penguins, but insisted they weren't real because she'd grown up in Alaska and never seen any. I was cutting plywood on my table saw. She came up behind me when I didn't know she was there and decided to help me by pushing a sheet when I was already pushing it through. It lurched, and I damn near lost a finger. She had no idea why I was angry at poor little her. There's no way the earth spins once a day. If it spun the fast we would all fly off. Wait, the Romans are from Rome. I read this to my wife and asked her what was her moment. She replied, "There's been so many, it's hard to pinpoint just one. We've been together 40 years. I was going into anaphylactic shock at a restaurant due to unknown allergy. My throat was closing and I had no neck due to swelling. He asked if I wanted to go outside to get some air. We were sitting on the patio. He played a lot of COD and got a tattoo based on a cool design he saw in the game. It was the Nazi eagle. Senior year of high school, I'd been offered a full-ride college scholarship for athletics. My girlfriend at the time was always annoyed with how much time I dedicated to my sport. In a particular conversation, I made my case that without the sport, I probably wouldn't be able to go to college, and even if I could, I'd be riddled with debt. The scholarship was a life changer for me. She got mad that I called the scholarship a life changer and demanded that I quit my sport so we could hang out more. We broke up about 90 seconds after that comment. Look at the moon. That ain't right. Me, what do you mean? You're not supposed to see the moon during the daytime. The government put that there to spy on us. Me. I mentioned that I loved stargazing on camping trips because it would actually get dark enough to see the Milky Way. Apparently I was lying to him, as it's impossible to see the Milky Way since we're in it. Same dude also refused to believe that huckleberries existed. Again, this came up when I was talking about picking and eating huckleberries on a hike. He had to interrupt me to tell me I was wrong because huckleberries were made up. Everyone says dumb things sometimes. What was remarkable was how confidently he went out of his way to convince me I was wrongly. And then got upset at me for bickering when I didn't immediately agree that something I'd been looking at, or eating, for most of my life was in my imagination. What kind of bird is a ham? Was hard to ignore. When he ran out of gas while in line at the Starbucks drive-thru, right across the street from the gas station, I told him to get gas first because his car was low but he really needed that iced caramel macchiato. I asked why he didn't listen to me, and he replied with, "I thought I could make it." He ended up pushing the car through the drive-thru and got his coffee while doing so, then parked the car in the lot and called a tow. To tow it back home. Instead of the gas station across the street. No, he did not get any gas that day. He waited until his dad got off work to bring a 3-gallon jug of gasoline because I refused to enable that shit. ETA, I fell asleep after commenting. I feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone with all these comments. Holy shit, thank you for the reward. Yes, I'm still in a relationship with him. He's a space case but so am I, just not to that extent. Lamau, I have not let him live that day down and he has learned to get gas first every time now. The worst part of that day was the fact he didn't remember he had a canister for gasoline in his trunk. He told me he towed the car home instead of the gas station because he was too embarrassed and ashamed of himself. I asked why he still pushed his car through the Starbucks drive-thru and he deadpan goes, "I had enough stars for a free drink. I was gonna put the extra money I saved in my tank, gas." My brain broke for a second because he uses the preloaded Starbucks app. How was he going to use $7 of his preloaded Starbucks app at a Chevron? He still hasn't answered me and it's been 2 years since it happened. Edit 2, I showed him this and he flipped me off and said if this makes me famous he demands royalties. Lamau asked me to use smaller words, the word I used? Demographic. When he asked my grandmother if she'd ever had children. I was having bad cramps and I took an Advil. My ex told me I shouldn't take them because it's a gazebo. I opened a drawer in my bathroom and noticed a bunch of Q-tips scattered all over my hairbrush, towels etc. When I asked him about it, he said he dumped all my Q-tips out and threw away the box they came in to help me save space in the drawer. She asked me if she had to divorce her first husband before we got married, man face palming. I told him I had to leave in 1.5 hours. He told me that was oddly specific and I should have rounded up to 2 hours instead of 1 hour and 50 minutes. I clarified that I had to leave in 1 hour and 30 minutes and he said that's actually 1.3 hours. How do oil companies know where to build gas stations? She thought that there was a gasoline bubble underground that they would tap into and run the line straight to the pump. She was working for Chevron. She had a new telescope and thought it would be really cute to check out the stars after a date one night. I don't remember the full conversation, but at some point I joked about us being stuck together on this giant ball in space. She looked through the telescope again and said, "So you believe that, huh?" I just stared at her blankly because I was afraid of that question going any further. Anyways, happy to share that we didn't last long, but did you guys know that there's totally a lot of evidence that our planet is probably not round? If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe for more.